Secede, sized, secede. Part of speech, verb. Meaning, to withdraw formally from membership in a union, alliance, or political or religious organization. Hindi meaning, alag ho jana, prithak hona, sandhi se alag hona. Example, the state decided to secede from the federation. राज्य ने महासंघ से अलग होने का निर्णय लिया. Seclusion, seclusion. Part of speech, noun. Meaning, the state of being private and away from others. Isolation. Hindi meaning, ekantwas, akelapan. Example, she enjoyed the peace and seclusion of the countryside. उसे ग्रामीण क्षेत्र का एकांत और शांति बहुत पसंद थी. Secular. Part of speech, adjective. Meaning, not connected with religious or spiritual matters. Worldly. Hindi meaning, dharmnirpeksh, lockic. Example, he works in a secular organization. वह एक धर्मनिरपेक्ष संगठन में काम करता है. Sedate. Part of speech, adjective verb. Meaning, calm, dignified, and unhurried. To administer a sedative to calm someone. Hindi meaning, gambhir, shant. औषधि द्वारा शांत करना. Example, she looked very sedate in her formal attire. वह अपने औपचारिक वस्त्रों में बहुत शांत दिख रही थी. Sedentary. Part of speech, adjective. Meaning, involving little physical activity. Largely seated or inactive. Hindi meaning, निष्क्रिय, स्थिर, बैठने का. Example, a sedentary lifestyle can lead to various health issues. एक निष्क्रिय जीवन शैली कई स्वास्थ्य समस्याओं को जन्म दे सकती है. Sediment. Part of speech, noun. Meaning, matter that settles to the bottom of a liquid. Hindi meaning, talchat, avsad. Example, sediment had gathered at the bottom of the lake. झील के तल में तलछट जमा हो गई थी. Seduce. Part of speech, verb. Meaning, to persuade or attract someone to do something, especially by allure or temptation. Hindi meaning, बहकाना, आकर्षित करना, प्रलोभन देना. Example, the bright lights of the city seduced her. शहर की चमक दमक ने उसे आकर्षित किया. September. Part of speech, verb. Meaning, to pass a flow slowly through small openings. Hindi meaning, risna, धीरे धीरे बहना. Example, water began to seep through the cracks in the wall. दीवार की दरारों से पानी रिसने लगा. Segregate. Part of speech, verb. Meaning, to separate or isolate from others. Hindi meaning, alag karna, prithak karna. Example, the community was segregated by social class. समाज को सामाजिक वर्ग के आधार पर अलग कर दिया गया था. Siege. Part of speech, verb. Meaning, to take hold of something suddenly and forcibly. Hindi meaning, kabza karna, pakad lena. Example, the police seized the illegal goods. पुलिस ने अवैध सामान को कब्जे में ले लिया. Seldom. Part of speech, adverb. Meaning, not often, rarely. Hindi meaning, बहुत कम, कभी कभी. Example, he seldom visits his hometown. वह बहुत कम अपने गृहनगर जाता है. Selfless. Part of speech, adjective. Meaning, more concerned with the needs and wishes of others than with one's own. Hindi meaning, निस्वार्थ. Example, her selfless actions earned her respect. उनकी निस्वार्थ गतिविधियों ने उन्हें सम्मान दिलाया. Selfish. Part of speech, adjective. Meaning, lacking consideration for others. Focused on one's own interests. Hindi meaning, swarthi. Example, he was too selfish to share his snacks. वह अपने नाश्ते को साझा करने के लिए बहुत स्वार्थी था. Sensation, sensation. Part of speech, noun. Meaning, a physical feeling or perception resulting from something that happens to or comes into contact with the body. Hindi meaning, samvedana, ehsaas. Example, she felt a warm sensation in her hands. उसे अपने हाथों में गर्माहट का एहसास हुआ. Sensory, sensory. Part of speech, adjective. Meaning, relating to sensation or the physical senses. Hindi meaning, indriya sambandhi. Example, the sensory experience at the museum was amazing. संग्रहालय में इंद्रिय अनुभव अद्भुत था. Sentiment, sentiment. Part of speech, noun. Meaning, a view or opinion that is held or expressed. A feeling. Hindi meaning, bhavna, vichar. Example, his sentiment towards nature is very positive. प्रकृति के प्रति उनकी भावना बहुत सकारात्मक है. Sequence. Part of speech, noun. Meaning, a particular order in which related events, movements, or things follow each other. Hindi meaning, kram, anukram. Example, follow the sequence of steps carefully. कदमों के अनुक्रम का ध्यान से पालन करें. serene. Part of speech, adjective. Meaning, calm, peaceful, and untroubled. Tranquil. Hindi meaning, shant, sthir. Example, the lake looked serene at dawn. झील सुबह के समय शांत दिख रही थी. Serve. Part of speech, verb. Meaning, to work for. To assist or be of use. Hindi meaning, सेवा करना, मदद करना. Example, she serves in the community center every weekend. वो हर सप्ताहांत सामुदायिक केंद्र में सेवा करती है. Session. Part of speech, noun. Meaning, a meeting, class, or assembly where people gather. Hindi meaning, satra, बैठक. Example, the yoga session was very refreshing. योग सत्र बहुत ताजगी भरा था. Severe. Part of speech, adjective. Meaning, intense or extreme. Very strict or harsh. Hindi meaning, गंभीर, कड़ा. Example, the storm caused severe damage. तूफान ने गंभीर नुकसान पहुंचाया. Shallow. Part of speech, adjective. Meaning, not deep. Lacking depth. Hindi meaning, उथला, कम गहरा. Example, the pool is shallow near the edge. तालाब का किनारा कम गहरा है. Shelter. Part of speech, noun. Meaning, a place giving temporary protection from bad weather or danger. Hindi meaning, ashray, suraksha. Example, they found shelter under a tree. उन्हें एक पेड़ के नीचे आश्रय मिला. Shift. Part of speech, verb. Meaning, to move or cause to move from one place to another. Hindi meaning, स्थानांतरण करना, बदलना. Example, please shift the chair to the left. कृपया कुर्सी को बाईं ओर शिफ्ट करें. Shrink. Part of speech, verb. Meaning, to become smaller in size. Hindi meaning, सिकुड़ना, छोटा होना. Example, wool clothes shrink when washed. ऊन के कपड़े धोने पर सिकुड़ जाते हैं. Simple. Part of speech, adjective. Meaning, easy to understand. Plain. Hindi meaning, सरल, सादा. Example, his instructions were very simple. उनके निर्देश बहुत सरल थे. Sincere. Part of speech, adjective. Meaning, genuine or honest. Hindi meaning, ईमानदार, सच्चा. Example, she gave a sincere apology. उसने सच्चे मन से माफी मांगी. Situation, situash, and situation. Part of speech, noun. Meaning, the set of circumstances in which one finds oneself. A state of affairs. Hindi meaning, sthiti, paristhiti. Example, the situation at the office was tense. कार्यालय की स्थिति तनावपूर्ण थी. Skillful, skillful, skillful. Part of speech, adjective. Meaning, having or showing skill. Hindi meaning, kushal, nipun. Example, she is a skillful artist. वह एक कुशल कलाकार है. Skyline, skillant, skyline. Part of speech, noun. Meaning, the outline of land and buildings defined against the sky. Hindi meaning, Akash Rekha. Example, the city skyline looks beautiful at night. रात में शहर की आकाश रेखा बहुत खूबसूरत दिखती है. Slander, slander, slander. Part of speech, noun, verb. Meaning, a false and damaging statement about someone. Hindi meaning, badnami, अपमानजनक बात. Example, the newspaper was sued for slander. अखबार पर बदनामी के लिए मुकदमा किया गया. Skeptical, skeptical, skeptical. Part of speech, adjective. Meaning, doubtful or questioning. Hindi meaning, sandehpurn. Example, he was skeptical about the new project. वह नए प्रोजेक्ट के बारे में संदेहपूर्ण था. Smuggle, smeal, smuggle. Part of speech, verb. Meaning, to import or export goods illegally. Hindi meaning, तस्करी करना. Example, they tried to smuggle goods across the border. उन्होंने सीमा पार तस्करी करने की कोशिश की. Solidarity, solidarity. Part of speech, noun. Meaning, unity and mutual support within a group. Hindi meaning, ekta, sahanubhuti. Example, the workers showed solidarity in their demands. मजदूरों ने अपनी मांगों में एकता दिखाई. Sophisticated, sophisticated, sophisticated. Part of speech, adjective. Meaning, refined, cultured, and elegant. Hindi meaning, parishkrit, samajhdar. Example, she has a very sophisticated taste in fashion. उनका फैशन में बहुत परिष्कृत स्वाद है. Sovereign, sovereign, sovereign. Part of speech, noun, adjective. Meaning, supreme ruler, especially a monarch. Having supreme power. Hindi meaning, Samprabhu, Sarvocha. Example, India is a sovereign nation. भारत एक संप्रभु राष्ट्र है. Speculate, speculate, speculate. Part of speech, verb. Meaning, to form a theory without firm evidence. Hindi meaning, अटकलें लगाना. Example, the media speculated about the election results. मीडिया ने चुनाव परिणामों के बारे में अटकलें लगाईं. Spontaneous, spontaneous, spontaneous. Part of speech, adjective. Meaning, performed occurring as a result of a sudden impulse. Hindi meaning, swabhavik, swatah prerit. Example, the spontaneous applause surprised the speaker. स्वाभाविक तालियों ने वक्ता को आश्चर्यचकित कर दिया. Stagnant, stagnant, stagnant. Part of speech, adjective. Meaning, showing no activity. Dull and sluggish. Hindi meaning, ठहरा हुआ, निष्क्रिय. Example, the stagnant economy needs reform. ठहरी हुई अर्थव्यवस्था को सुधार की आवश्यकता है. Steadfast, steadfast, steadfast. Part of speech, adjective. Meaning, resolutely firm and unwavering. Hindi meaning, adig, drid. Example, he remained steadfast in his beliefs. वह अपने विश्वासों में अडिग रहा. Stipulate, stipulate, stipulate. Part of speech, verb. Meaning, to specify a condition in an agreement. Hindi meaning, शर्त रखना. Example, the contract stipulates payment deadlines. अनुबंध में भुगतान की समय सीमा निर्धारित की गई है। Subdue, subd, subdue. Part of speech, verb. Meaning, to overcome, quieten, or bring under control. Hindi meaning, काबू में करना, शांत करना. Example, the police were able to subdue the riot. पुलिस ने दंगे को काबू में कर लिया. Sublime, sublime, sublime. Part of speech, adjective. Meaning, of such excellence a beauty is to inspire admiration. Hindi meaning, utkrisht, mahan. Example, the view from the mountain top was sublime. पहाड़ की चोटी से दृश्य उत्कृष्ट था. Subsequent, subsequent, subsequent. Part of speech, adjective. Meaning, coming after something in time. Following. Hindi meaning, बाद में आने वाला. Example, his subsequent actions were surprising. उसके बाद के कार्य हैरान कर देने वाले थे. Subside, subside, subside. Part of speech, verb. Meaning, become less intense, violent, or severe. Hindi meaning, शांत होना, घट जाना. Example, the storm began to subside by evening. शाम तक तूफान शांत होने लगा. Substantial, substantial, substantial. Part of speech, adjective. Meaning, of considerable importance, size, or worth. Hindi meaning, महत्वपूर्ण, पर्याप्त. Example, he made a substantial donation to charity. उन्होंने चैरिटी को पर्याप्त दान दिया. Subtle, subtle, subtle. Part of speech, adjective. Meaning, delicate or precise is to be difficult to analyze or describe. Hindi meaning, suksham, jatil. Example, there was a subtle change in his tone. उसके स्वर में एक सूक्ष्म बदलाव था. Succumb, secame, succumb. Part of speech, verb. Meaning, to fail to resist pressure or temptation. Hindi meaning, हार मान लेना, झुक जाना. Example, he succumbed to the stress of his job. वह अपनी नौकरी के तनाव के आगे झुक गया. Summon, summon, summon. Part of speech, verb. Meaning, to call upon someone to be present. Hindi meaning, बुलाना, हाजिर करना. Example, the manager summoned the employees for a meeting. प्रबंधक ने कर्मचारियों को बैठक के लिए बुलाया. Superficial, superficial, superficial. Part of speech, adjective. Meaning, existing on or near the surface. Not thorough. Hindi meaning, sathi, upri. Example, his understanding of the topic was superficial. विषय के प्रति उसकी समझ सतही थी. Baffle, baffle, baffle. Part of speech, verb. Meaning, to confuse or perplex. Hindi meaning, उलझन में डालना. Example, the difficult question baffled the students. कठिन प्रश्न ने छात्रों को उलझन में डाल दिया. Banish, banish, banish. Part of speech, verb. Meaning, to send someone away as a punishment. Hindi meaning, निर्वासित करना. Example, the king banished the traitor from the kingdom. राजा ने गद्दार को राज्य से निर्वासित कर दिया. Barbaric, barbaric, barbaric. Part of speech, adjective. Meaning, savagely cruel or brutal. Hindi meaning, barbar, asabhya. Example, the barbaric treatment of prisoners was condemned. कैदियों के बर्बर व्यवहार की निंदा की गई. Benevolent, benevolent, benevolent. Part of speech, adjective. Meaning, well-meaning and kindly. Hindi meaning, paropkari, dayalu. Example, she has a benevolent attitude toward everyone. उनका सभी के प्रति परोपकारी रवैया है. Bias, bees, bias. Part of speech, noun. Meaning, prejudice in favor of or against something. Hindi meaning, pakshapat. Example, the report was criticized for its bias. रिपोर्ट को उसके पक्षपात के लिए आलोचना की गई. Bigotry, bigotry, bigotry. Part of speech, noun. Meaning, intolerance toward those who are different. Hindi meaning, sankirnta, kattarta. Example, bigotry can create divisions in society. कट्टरता समाज में विभाजन पैदा कर सकती है. Blatant, blatant, blatant. Part of speech, adjective. Meaning, done openly and unashamedly. Hindi meaning, khullam khulla. Example, his blatant disregard for rules was shocking. नियमों की उनकी खुल्लम खुल्ला अवहेलना चौंकाने वाली थी. Bleak, black, bleak. Part of speech, adjective. Meaning, cold and miserable. Unlikely to have a favorable outcome. Hindi meaning, nirashajanak. Example, the future looked bleak due to economic issues. आर्थिक समस्याओं के कारण भविष्य निराशाजनक लग रहा था. Bliss, bliss, bliss. Part of speech, noun. Meaning, perfect happiness. Great joy. Hindi meaning, anand, khushi. Example, she felt a sense of bliss while watching the sunset. सूर्यास्त को देखते हुए उसे आनंद का अनुभव हुआ. Boast, boast, boast. Part of speech, verb. Meaning, to talk with pride about achievements. Hindi meaning, घमंड करना. Example, he boasted about his success in the competition. उसने प्रतियोगिता में अपनी सफलता के बारे में घमंड किया. Bold, bold, bold. Part of speech, adjective. Meaning, showing courage. Brave. Hindi meaning, साहसी, निर्भीक. Example, she made a bold decision to start her own business. उसने अपना खुद का व्यवसाय शुरू करने का साहसी निर्णय लिया. Breach, break, breach. Part of speech, noun, verb. Meaning, an act of breaking a law or agreement. Hindi meaning, उल्लंघन. Example, his actions were breach of contract. उनके कार्य अनुबंध का उल्लंघन थे. Brisk, brisk, brisk. Part of speech, adjective. Meaning, active, fast, and energetic. Hindi meaning, furtila. Broaden, broaden, broaden. Part of speech, verb. Meaning, to make wider or more comprehensive. Hindi meaning, चौड़ा करना, विस्तार करना. Example, travel helps broaden your perspective. यात्रा आपके दृष्टिकोण को विस्तृत करने में मदद करती है. Brutal, brutal, brutal. Part of speech, adjective. Meaning, extremely harsh or cruel. Hindi meaning, cruel. Example, the brutal war left the country devastated. क्रूर युद्ध ने देश को तबाह कर दिया. Buffer, buffer, buffer. Part of speech, noun. Meaning, something that shields or absorbs shock. Hindi meaning, buffer, झटका सहने वाला. Example, they used a buffer zone to reduce conflict. उन्होंने संघर्ष को कम करने के लिए बफर जोन का उपयोग किया. Bungle, bengal, bungle. Part of speech, verb. Meaning, to carry out a task clumsily. Hindi meaning, गड़बड़ करना. Example, he bungled the presentation by forgetting key points. उसने मुख्य बिंदु भूलकर प्रस्तुति में गड़बड़ की. Burdensome, burdensome, burdensome. Part of speech, adjective. Meaning, difficult to carry or endure. Hindi meaning, बोझिल. Example, the heavy workload was burdensome for her. भारी कार्यभार उसके लिए बोझिल था. Bustle, bustle, bustle. Part of speech, verb, noun. Meaning, to move in an energetic and busy manner. Hindi meaning, चहल पहल करना. Example, the market was bustling with activity. बाजार में चहल पहल थी. Bystander, bystander, bystander. Part of speech, noun. Meaning, a person who is present but not involved. Hindi meaning, tamashbeen, darshak. Example, the bystanders watched the parade pass by. तमाशाबीनों ने परेड को गुजरते हुए देखा. Vague, vague, vague. Part of speech, adjective. meaning not clear or definite. Hindi meaning अस्पष्ट, अनिश्चित. Example, her instructions were vague and confusing. उसके निर्देश अस्पष्ट और भ्रमित करने वाले थे. Validate, validate. Part of speech, verb. Meaning, to confirm or prove the truth of something. Hindi meaning, प्रमाणित करना, पुष्टि करना. Example, the results of the test will validate our theory. परीक्षण के परिणाम हमारे सिद्धांत की पुष्टि करेंगे. Vanish, vanish. Part of speech, verb. Meaning, to disappear suddenly. Hindi meaning, गायब हो जाना. Example, the magician made the rabbit vanish. जादूगर ने खरगोश को गायब कर दिया. Venture, venture. Part of speech, verb, noun. Meaning, a risky or daring journey or undertaking. Hindi meaning, साहसिक कार्य, जोखिम उठाना. Example, he decided to venture into the new business. उसने नए व्यवसाय में कदम रखने का फैसला किया. Verify, verify. Part of speech, verb. Meaning, to check or confirm accuracy. Hindi meaning, सत्यापित करना, जांच करना. Example, please verify your details before submitting the form. कृपया फॉर्म जमा करने से पहले अपनी जानकारी की जांच करें. Vibrant, vibrant. Part of speech, adjective. Meaning, full of energy and enthusiasm. Hindi meaning, जीवंत, ऊर्जा से भरा हुआ. Example, the city is known for its vibrant culture. शहर अपने जीवंत संस्कृति के लिए जाना जाता है. Vice. Part of speech, noun. Meaning, immoral or wicked behavior. Hindi meaning, अवगुण, बुराई. Example, greed is considered a vice in many cultures. लालच को कई संस्कृतियों में अवगुण माना जाता है. Victorious, victorious. Part of speech, adjective. Meaning, having won a victory. Hindi meaning, vijayi. Example, the team was victorious in the final match. Team अंतिम मैच में विजयी रही. Vigilant, vigilant. Part of speech, adjective. Meaning, keeping careful watch for possible danger. Hindi meaning, satark, सावधान. Example, the guards remained vigilant all night. रक्षक पूरी रात सतर्क रहे. Villain, villain. Part of speech, noun. Meaning, a character whose actions are against the hero. Hindi meaning, खलनायक. Example, the movie's villain was very cunning. फिल्म का खलनायक बहुत चालाक था. Violate, violate. Part of speech, verb. Meaning, to break or disregard rules or laws. Hindi meaning, उल्लंघन करना. Example, those who violate the rules will be punished. जो नियमों का उल्लंघन करेंगे, उन्हें दंडित किया जाएगा. Virtue, virtue. Part of speech, noun. Meaning, moral excellence. Good quality. Hindi meaning, सद्गुण, अच्छाई. Example, honesty is considered a virtue. ईमानदारी को एक सद्गुण माना जाता है. Visible, visible. Part of speech, adjective. Meaning, able to be seen. Hindi meaning, दिखाई देने योग्य. Example, the stars were clearly visible in the night sky. रात के आकाश में तारे स्पष्ट रूप से दिखाई दे रहे थे. Vital, vital. Part of speech, adjective. Meaning, absolutely necessary or important. Hindi meaning, अत्यावश्यक. Example, water is vital for all living beings. पानी सभी जीवों के लिए अत्यावश्यक है. Vocal, vocal. Part of speech, adjective. Meaning, expressing opinions or feelings freely. Hindi meaning, मुखर, बोलने वाला. Example, she is very vocal about her beliefs. वह अपने विश्वासों के बारे में बहुत मुखर है. Void, void. Part of speech, noun, adjective. Meaning, completely empty, not valid. Hindi meaning, shunya, amanya. Example, the contract was declared void. अनुबंध को अमान्य घोषित किया गया. Volatile, vital, volatile. Part of speech, adjective. Meaning, liable to change rapidly and unpredictably. Hindi meaning, asthir, badalne wala. Example, the stock market is highly volatile. शेयर बाजार अत्यधिक अस्थिर है. Volunteer, volunteer, volunteer. Part of speech, noun, verb. Meaning, a person who offers to help freely. Hindi meaning, swayam sevak. Example, she volunteers at the local hospital. वह स्थानीय अस्पताल में स्वयंसेवक के रूप में काम करती है. Vulnerable, vulnerable, vulnerable. Part of speech, adjective. Meaning, susceptible to physical or emotional harm. Hindi meaning, asurakshit, samvedanshil. Example, children are vulnerable to many diseases. बच्चे कई बीमारियों के प्रति संवेदनशील होते हैं. Vow, verb, vow. Part of speech, noun, verb. Meaning, a solemn promise. Hindi meaning, shapath, vachan. Example, he made a vow to always protect his family. उसने हमेशा अपने परिवार की रक्षा करने की शपथ ली.